As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff and Booner. It's Tuesday, September 30th. We are back. Another great day. We had Victory Monday yesterday. Still Victory Tuesday. I mean, the Tigers won today. Come on.
Let's go, baby.
They won. The tough 1 o'clock game. I wasn't able to catch all of it, but it is massive. I did tell you yesterday, Booner, giving the Tigers a game, I said. And can I be honest with you?
You're bought in?
I'm hooked, baby. I'm hooked.
Let's go.
It didn't have to be the prettiest, but you know what? You won game one, and you know how valuable that is in these best of threes. I think I forgot the exact number. I can't remember it, but it's like 60%, something like that. I'm not trying to jinx. I'm just stating data, and this is data. If you win game one, you have a extremely high likelihood of actually winning the series.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Booner.
Was I right?
We are back. Sorry, wrong mic was selected. But it's like a 60% chance if you win game one.
You sound so different, dude. Computer to this mic is just so
it does that sometimes where it'll switch. So thank you for that.
You sounded like you were like across the room.
Yeah, that was bad. It was actually on my camera. It was my camera mic. That's what it does.
Your camera has a mic?
Yeah, it's obviously it's terrible. I mean, you heard it. It's disgusting. But
wow. Good
day to be a Tigers fan. All right. Good week to be a Lions fan. Good day to be a Tigers fan. All right? Yeah.
And it's huge.
Tarek Skubal, by the way. Tarek Skubal. I know we had Chris on, and Chris was kind of preparing for the possibility that he may not be a Tiger for as long as we probably would hope. He is so fucking good. All right. So, and you got to see that today. He's you needed today from Tarek Skubal. Like that's what he's there for. You know, like he's going to win games for you, even when your offense looks disgusting, and he was able to do that. So. Great day.
He had literally one of the greatest playoff performances by a starting pitcher of all time. I don't know how you don't like. I was watching it, and it was one of the most incredible in any sport that I've ever watched. It was one of the most incredible like performances that I've seen. I was just like, I was taken aback. That man had 14 strikeouts, and like when he was in, I think it was the 7th inning. His 13th, 12th, and 11th strikeout, every single time he struck the guy out, he threw over 100. And it was just like, it's just, and doing that in the 7th inning and like over 100 pitches at that point, up to that point, it's just like, no one does that. And you could tell like there was a moment, I'm sure with Skubal, like throughout the day and going into the day, into this game, that he knew like the weight on his back of being like the best pitcher in baseball. And going into the series, knowing the slump that you had in September, not him specifically, but the team had, and being like, if I can just get my game and get a win for my team, we could win this series, like legit win this series. And you could tell that he went out there with like a chip on his shoulder, like I'm gonna win this series for my team. Like I'm gonna win this game. And he did the fact to it, like it sucks too that this guy had one of the greatest performances of all time in a playoff. And they almost still lost because the offense couldn't get anything. Like they just kept leaving guys on base. They had a guy, I think, on 2nd and 3rd with 0 outs.
Yeah.
And don't score at all. That's where it's like, this is ridiculous. So, but no, thankfully, and then at the end, they almost blew it at the end. I don't know if you saw the end, Jeff, but like,
yeah, I did.
Jose Ramirez gets a hit. They throw it to Torque. Torque misses the catch. He gets all the way to 3rd. And then luckily, Jose Ramirez, brain fart, tries to run home essentially, and they get him out, and then they're able to end the game.
That's one of those things where you're just happy you got out of there. That's just one of those things. Like, listen, I know we talked about being in Cleveland versus at Comerica, and for whatever reason, they had more success this year at Cleveland. You're just happy you won that game. I mean, it's massive. And the fact that Skubal had the game, he had 14 strikeouts, and he had a little over 1 ERA. I mean, he was incredible. So that's what he's there for, man. He's incredible. I don't know what the ceiling looks like for this team, but all I can say as like a Tigers fan is just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. I mean, we could have been easily coming on here talking about another blown game. Like this probably could have been a different conversation, but it is what it is. Keys to Wisdom says we need Mize to close this thing out. If not, Flaherty is game 3. Yeah,
I hope tomorrow just end it, just get it done with, because the game 3, especially on the road, it's just too much pressure, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's not like you have Scooble going out there again. You have Flaherty, but like, if you could get this thing done tomorrow, and if they get a lead, if the Tigers get a lead, do not let that thing go. We've seen too many times the last few weeks blowing leads. Just finish it tomorrow, and then move on to the next series. We can go play Seattle. You get home games. Like you're going to be back in Detroit at some point. Just get to finish this thing tomorrow, please.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'll be more locked into game 2 watching it. It's tough. I was only able to catch the ending, which was like honestly probably in terms of being a fan, probably the worst and best time to catch the game today. So they were able to close it out. Woo! Tigers get game 1, massive game. The Lions also made a move like 25-30 minutes ago. And I know, what did we talk about yesterday? They were going to make a move, but maybe not the significant move that people were thinking of. And they were able to make one a little bit ago, like 30 minutes ago. It was announced the Lions are signing former Seahawks cornerback Trey Flowers, a different Trey Flowers coming to the D. All right, not the Trey Flowers with the EY, but the E at the end, the cornerback to the practice squad. Basically just depth. I know he's been I was actually Trey Flowers, to be honest with you, at some point, and maybe I'm remember. I know he's a big corner. I remember him a little bit, but I remember his early days in Seattle. That's the only time I remember really Trey Flowers. I didn't know he's been in the league as long as he had. I mean, he's been in the league since 2018, but he's been on different teams. He's been on a bunch of different teams. I just remember young Trey Flowers, and he was actually pretty good for Seattle. I don't know what's happened the last couple of years. I guess it just hasn't really worked out for him, but hey, you get depth. This is what we expected. They're going to sign someone for depth on the practice squad, and they're going to roll with what they have. So
yeah. They have guys in that building, like Amik, like we talked about it yesterday. I actually forgot about them moving Amik out. So like Amik, Rocky Sin, Avante Maddox, and now you have Trey Flowers in there. So I don't know if I'm guessing he's gonna be on the practice squad. My guess is he's probably this week not gonna play. Like he's not gonna be on this roster. Now, if you get into it to where like next week you still need, Terrion might be down a little bit. You need reinforcements, see what Trey looks like on the practice squad. I wonder if they're dropping anyone. I know today they dropped Ronnie Bell, but they also picked up a linebacker on the practice squad. So I wonder who else would get dropped if Trey Flowers is signing a practice squad deal.
Yeah, like I see Patagram's like Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore's available. I don't know about Steven Gilmore, but Stephon Gilmore is available.
He is out there. You could I don't know. I don't think the Lions will make that. I think that's, to me, not that this is a bad thing. That's a Madden move. That's like you go to Madden, you hit the free agents and he's the top overall and you're like, sign. Lions aren't doing that stuff. They're not going to just sign a guy because it's Stephon Gilmore. I don't know. How old is Stephon Gilmore?
It's probably like 34, 35, 36, 37.
He's 35. That's a lot of different. He's 35.
It kept going up. I knew it was higher than what I was saying.
He's 35, and last year he was the 118th corner in coverage, according to PFF. He was a top 100 corner on PFF, so he was not great in Minnesota. So
yeah, that's tough. That's a bad look.
It's not. He's 35 years old, man. Like he's not Stephon Gilmore. He's not Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Gilmore.
Could I ask a question? And I want you to answer it truthfully, Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you.
If Jeff Okudah was a free agent right now, would you sign him?
We know what Jeff Okudah is in coverage.
I'm at
right there.
Would you sign him if he was currently a free agent?
That's what he is in coverage. He's nasty work. No, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
He's starting for the Vikings right now.
No. I'm good.
Listen, I'm not saying I would. I just. What's
he doing in Minnesota? If he's starting, let me see. Let me check him out.
So I'm getting clicked last week versus Steelers.
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow. He is. Wait for this. This will surprise you. Out of 164 corners on PFF, 164. Jeff Okudah is 159. All right, let's cut the bullshit. All right, he's ass, and we need to realize that. All
Hey,
right?
what a setup! I thought you were about to be like he's 50 or he's 35. I was like, wow,
Hey,
dude.
Okay,
My heart actually, when you went, wow, my heart dropped. I was like, there's no way.
Okay,
Oh
so
man,
there are only 5 corners worse than him this year, according to PFF. Okay, so
who are the 5 worst? Because we need to know those guys.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be, but yeah, no, I mean, I would rather have Jerry Jacobs, all due respect, than Jeff Okudah.
Wasn't Jerry Jacobs like trying to what is it, like campaign himself to get re-signed by the Lions?
On Twitter, like recently?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was
was
like,
he?
"Hey, I'm available, Lions, if you need me." It's got to be a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jerry. I do like Jerry Jacobs. I don't know if like skill wise, like I don't think that would be something the Lions would like look at, but I do. Oh,
Am I going crazy, or did he say something?
he did. No, he did. I'm looking at it.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure.
He tweeted out, I'm playing this year on my soul. Hold on.
On my soul.
Anyway, hold on. This is what he tweeted out. Yeah, he wants to be signed. I mean, this is his Twitter right now. He's tweeting out. He said, I'm playing this year on my soul and I can play on the inside. Assuming that's why he's tweeting that. Like, yeah, he's campaigning to be brought back for sure.
He wants to be in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive thing. Like, people want to play here, you know, like Jerry Jacobs was already here. He wants to be brought back. But yeah, Jerry, let's keep it stacked though. Like, Jerry had his moments too. Like, he wasn't
yeah.
Yeah, they definitely got better. That was the different days. Kindle Vildor, Jerry Jacobs. Yeah. Visionary Roar said, read his recent tweet. What did he just tweet? Did I miss his recent tweet?
He tweeted 2 hours ago.
Oh.
What did he say? This is big.
He said, my tape is so legit, they really don't understand how I'm on the street.
I dare you to comment right now and be like, talk to him. Let him know. Comment right now. Be like, let him know, Jerry.
Okay, no, I'm not doing that.
Type it in there. Say, let him know, Jerry. Come on.
Should I?
Yeah, he'll probably like the tweet.
No, should I say it? Should I say it?
Yeah, dude. Come on now.
Let him know, Jerry.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny.
You should get Jerry on the show, dude. Let him campaign on crunch time. That first tweet's crazy, dude. You should not have done that. That was bad. That's forever, dude.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully cut that part out of the show. Cut that part out of the show, man. Yeah, I'll do it later. We'll cut it out.
Hey, that's unbelievable. get Jerry Jacobs back. Why not? Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, well, there's Trey Flowers. They felt Trey Flowers was a better option than Jerry Jacobs. So I don't even know what Trey Flowers. Let me see what Trey Flowers has been doing. Actually,
He played like 4 games last year. He was on 2 different teams, so he must have been like a practice squad guy as well last year.
He wasn't good.
Nothing
year.
Much. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Much.
Well, he's just a body then. Yeah, that's really all he is. I mean, we're not expecting the dude to play. Diggity Dog, keeping it a buck, you ass. Oh, that's funny. Hey, I did want to ask you. Last night, I know we got off the stream, and you and the boys, by the way,
What nuts, dude? Dude.
Maybe I needed to stop. I need to not bet. I think I need to retire because now you guys have been on a heater the last 2 days, and I have not placed.
I had like 7 bets last night and like a big parlay and like all the touch. I talked about it on the show. I had the 2 touchdown scores: Cortland Sutton, Justin Fields. I had Troy Franklin 50 at like 50 yards at like plus 120.
Did the RJ Harvey bet hit?
The RJ Harvey, I live bet RJ Harvey to get 50 yards at like plus 190. I put in it just everything was hitting. I put in a parlay for the first game that it was like plus 900 that hit. Like everything was hitting. It was unbelievable.
Would you make it the old Bengals, huh? that Bengals team. Jamar Chase
They're
got
so bad. I literally, if Jamar Chase, I'll tell you this, if Jamar Chase would have just had 50 yards, like just 50, I would have hit 2 more parlays. That's it. Just 50. Just 50.
Jake Browning, dude, sucks. Like,
well, honestly, don't let me be honest. I watched videos today. Like Jake Browning, he took over for them a couple years ago, 4-3, right? And while Joe Burrow was out, kept him afloat. I watched clips today on Twitter of the offensive line.
That's okay. That's
that
fair.
I
The
think
offensive
like
line.
Jake Browning, if they just like were competent, I think Jake Browning would be fine. I don't want to say like hey, Jake Browning's like trash. Like, yeah, obviously he's not Joe Burrow, but like now, like seeing Jake Browning in there and seeing this offensive line, it's like, yeah, that's why Joe Burrow has turf toe right now, and his career, could be over at some point because he's gotten hurt 15 million times. Is because you guys paid all these receivers $1 million. You paid everyone $1 million, and you did not form an offensive line. It can't be that hard to get an offensive line. Brad's put up again, like he lost 2 Pro Bowlers and 1 All-Pro player, and he's built up a new offensive line in an offseason.
Well, to be honest with you, like the Bears and Vikings both revamped their whole O-line in one offseason. So it can be done. What you typically see, and I've brought this up, and this is why Zach Taylor needs to be fired. Like, they need to fire Zach Taylor. They need to fire him. He should be done. It's over in Cincinnati. They need to get a new head coach. They need to get a new GM. They need to fire. They need to clean house and get.
I think Zach Taylor's a good coach.
I do. I think a red flag with offensive coaches, and hear me out on this, and look around the league, offensive coaches get their offensive lines right. They always do. Like Andy Reid, remember when Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Bucs got destroyed? They revamped the O-line within a year. Dan Campbell comes to Detroit. They kept a good O-line, offensive guy. Nick Sirianni, Eagles, offensive line is great over there. It's always been great. They've been able to keep that up. Shane Steichen, offensive guy. Colts have a good offense. I can keep going with this. The Zach Taylor, they have not been able to figure out an offensive line. And
no, they've tried. They just can't figure it out. That GM cannot figure out how to get. He doesn't know how.
And honestly, on top of that, they obviously can't figure out anything defensively either. So it's like Zach Taylor's ability to hire a DC is bad too. Like they can't find a good defensive coordinator. And because the last one they had Lou and Arumo.
Yeah,
that he was there when they went to the Super Bowl. They fired him, didn't work out. And the GM sucks there. Like I would put more blame on the GM than it would Zach, but
honestly,
Zach needs to go too. Like they need
the whole franchise, the owner,
and the franchise. Yeah, it's just
as
bad
a whole.
It's bad. It's really bad. I mean, I don't know what. And I think this game, that's why you're facing the Bengals in a perfect spot because they don't have Joe Burrow. And they're just in they're like, what are you said you put it in prep? What are they 10-point favorites right now?
I think it was 10. I think before it was like 7.5. And then after last night, I think it's moved to 10. I think people saw just how bad that O-line. Dude, I saw videos of the O-line to where last night the Broncos only would send 3 guys, just a 3-man rush, nothing crazy. They had a tight end in there blocking, and they had the running back blocking. They had 4 players blocking the nose tackle, 4. And then there was one-on-one on the outsides with the tackles. 4 guys blocking the 1 guy in the middle, and then one-on-one of the tackles. Both tackles, Jeff, got beat instantly, and the edges both got a half a sack. It was, I don't even know if I can find it. Bengals offensive line. Let me see if I can find this. This is dude, it is insane. And like you should be fired. Like the O-line coach, like everyone should be fired after this. Look at this. Look how nuts this is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players blocking for Jake Browning, right? Watch. They send 3. 1, 2, 3. They send 3 guys. 4 guys on this. Look at that. That's incredible. Look at 74. And look at both tackles just get instantly beat.
Running back isn't there to even help them anyway. So it's bad.
Dude.
It's so bad.
Done. What do you do? Like, what does Browning do here? No, he can't do anything. What, step up, like, I guess, but
no, nothing. They can't do anything.
You're dead at that point.
I can't believe that. That's honestly, I mean, that's definitely why Joe Burrow gets hurt, but that's why the Bengals are in this like tough mediocrity they're stuck in this like mid
Yeah.
tier right now. It sucks. They have all these, and they pay the GM like you pay both weapons and your quarterback. You can't get Jamar Chase or T. Higgins the ball constantly if you can't stay in a pocket for more than 4 seconds and get the ball out. Like Joe Burrow is the year he had last year. I don't know how he does that. That's why he's so good. I don't know what dude had an MVP year and they suck. They sucked.
You would think this year as well that, and by the way, I think me and you both picked Joe Burrow to win MVP this year, which is we should have known with the offensive line. He was so good last year. That's why I think you're right. Like it makes it that much more incredible what he did last year, knowing what this offensive line is. This Lions defense, Jeff, especially like that front seven, those linebackers that blitz all the time, and that defensive line with Hutch, AQM, they should have a field day on Sunday. They should have a field day. And they should destroy Jake. They should sack Jake Browning 5+ times. Remember last year I used to put those bets on, like Lions to get 5+ sacks?
Yep.
I wonder if they have that this year. I'm going to go look.
They probably do, and it's probably plus like 400, plus 300.
All right, it's not up just yet.
Because they're gonna have another big day. Aiden's gonna have another like 2-sack performance, dude. Like he's gonna go. Jake Browning's gonna throw a pick or two as well. Like watch Brian. Brian this week will get the pick. They're gonna do something. They're gonna. And the unfortunate part is, like I think the Lions, like whatever the spread is, I'm taking the spread. Like they're gonna blow the Bengals
For sure.
out. It's gonna be another blowout. And we said this before. It's like you look at the toughest schedule, and then you get into the season. Okay, and the Browns have Joe Flacco. Okay, and then you follow that up with Jake Browning, and it's like, well, maybe the first part of the schedule is actually not as bad as you initially thought. The Bears got blown out.
Ravens though, I know the Ravens are 1-3, but that's a great win and that's a good
because you had a healthy Lamar, healthy Derek.
Yeah,
like
you got to give them credit.
Yeah, but. I mean, there's other teams like there's games, and this is what I praise the Lions for. At least they take care of business, and they have been taking care of business. Like the Bills beat the Saints, but the Bills, that game was close in the fourth quarter, and then they ended up pulling away. Remember, we had a bet we ended up losing the bet, but like the Saints scored, it got called back. Like the Lions are beating these teams, and the Saints are winless. Like the Lions are beating these teams by like freaking 20, 30, 40 points, dude. Like,
They might beat this Bengals team. I might take like an alternate line of like -20.5.
I could see it. Like they lost 28-3 last night. Like I can see like 37-10. Like that, I can see that type of game.
It's a good game for the defense because obviously you gave up almost 40 points versus the Ravens, whatever it was, 30 something. Now, like, obviously that messes with your points per game allowed. You could go back to back here, giving up 10 to the Browns, and you can give up 10 to the Bengals, and you're sitting there. That's 2 big time defensive performances. I know it's not the best offenses, but like, you know what I mean? When you're building throughout the season, those are games that when you want to keep yourself level in the league, a team like last night that only puts 3 up, you're expected when you play them. You should not give up more than, 17 max. Like maximum 17. It should be 10 or under, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing you're looking at is just the pass rush just to get home, which they will, but it's going to help out the secondary because you're dealing with backup corners, which I respect him more than, he can hold his own, but you have Rocky Scene in there guarding T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. Like you're going to need the guys up front to get home because that's the only thing that would pose problems. It's just the weapons they have. But it's like if Jake Brown, he's not Joe Burrow. Like Jake Browning's going to give you a pick or two. He's going to throw one your way.
Did he have one last night?
He did.
I was going to say, I didn't think he did just because he couldn't get the ball out, to be honest.
Let me see. Well, let me make sure he did. It seems like he has one every game. No, he didn't have anything last game.
He just couldn't get the ball out.
He had 120 passing yards.
How many passes?
14. He was 14 of 25 for 125 yards.
Dude, that was so bad last night.
He almost is last in QBR among quarterbacks. Like
you asked yesterday, you were like, do you like the doubleheader at Monday Night Footballs? And I was like, I love it. You get to watch the whole first game, and then you get the second half of the second game, essentially. After that game last night, I was like, I don't know if I want the doubleheader ever again.
For what reason?
It was such a bad. It was 30-3 or whatever the score was.
Well,
like it was not. It was not a fun game at all.
Well, yeah, that Jets game. You see the post by Aaron Glenn. They heard him yelling. So
Yeah,
the media heard him yelling through the wall.
Like, if you're gonna have a doubleheader Monday Night Football game, at least give us a good doubleheader. Like, don't give us the Jets and the Bengals with no Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they probably thought before the season you get Joe versus the Broncos.
But why the Jets versus the Dolphins?
Jets Dolphins is a little questionable, but yeah.
Why are the Jets in prime time at all? They should not have one primetime game.
That I'll never understand. It's because it's New York, I guess. I don't know. They don't. They're such. I feel bad for Aaron Glenn. They're winless too.
Aaron Glenn's in a tough spot. He's in a he's
in a brutal spot. He's in such a brutal spot. Tyrod Taylor. I mean, they had a closer game with the Bucs with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, that was tough. And Tanner Engstrand didn't we were talking about in the chat last night. Just not Tanner hasn't looked good play calling. It's kind of like. I know we were talking about Tanner being the Lions OC. It's coming full circle a little bit, being like, all right, now I see maybe why Dan.
I'm willing. Decision. I think it's both. I think Tanner, but also we brought up personnel all the time. Like, look at their personnel, like quarterback.
Yeah, but like Klotz brought up a good point yesterday. I think it was like they were down in the fourth quarter, down 2 possessions with a chance to go make it a 1, and it was like 3rd and long, and Tanner runs the ball. It's like, what are you doing in that moment? Like, I know you're a rookie OC, but I think we could take like a 12-year-old that's playing Madden off the streets, and he would know what to play to run.
I mean,
no,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. Who Dat says Justin Fields is not a starting quarterback. And then Weezy says it's not quarterback. Fields is actually playing good.
Do you think he is?
What
did he have last night?
He was 20 of 27, 226 and a touchdown. He actually had a pretty good game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I guess the total stats look way better at the end of the game.
And that man can run the rock too, dude. He had like that 50-yard touchdown run. It was incredible.
Yeah. I guess the ending stats aren't as bad, actually. 226 and 81 rushing yards. But yeah, they lost to a winless team in the Dolphins without Tyreek for Tyreek led their team in receiving yards and he got hurt in the middle of the game.
Yeah, we're already starting to see. I saw it on Twitter. Like, people want AG out in New York, but that's like, okay, AG, you took the job in New York. You knew what that market was. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like that's in my opinion what comes with that job.
Yeah, you kind of know what you're getting into for sure.
There's specific jobs in the NFL where if you take them, you could get on the hot seat in the first half of your first season. And it's just because of the market or the team you're in. Like, if you took over the Chiefs and you go start 0-4, people are going to ask for your job. The Eagles.
Well, that's why, like, say what you want about Caleb. This isn't even me talking about Caleb. I'm just saying the reason why Ben took that Bears job is because he feels like he has a quarterback. That's like half the battle, man. I feel bad. Like, Aaron Glenn went to a job with, like, Justin Fields, whatever you think of him, he's not a franchise quarterback yet. He hasn't proven that. And I was actually, even though you make fun of me for watching Colin Cowherd, he does a podcast with John Middlecoff. He used to be a scout, and he said that when he had a buddy of his that works for the Jets, and it was when they drafted Zach Wilson, and he said his buddy was like, he told John, he's like, listen, man, if we don't get this quarterback right, we're all fired. And that's how it works. Like, if you can't get the quarterback, and Zach ended up sucking, what happened? They all got fired.
But AG and them, they're the ones that went in there and they signed Justin Fields. They were the ones that did that. That was their regime, and obviously – you're 0-4. And you know what? I'm just going to be honest with you. That wasn't a bad roster. Like, that defense, it's a good defense. You have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. The old line's built up a little bit.
The tight end they drafted is pretty good. Mason Taylor.
So you're not sitting there going like, hey, we have a terrible roster. And why are you sitting at 0-4 and you lost to an 0-3 Dolphins team that's not good? And in the second half, they essentially had no Tyreek Hill. It's like, yeah, now I see. And if you're in a big market like New York, that's going to happen quick. It's going to come fast, man. And
hey, Dante Moore to the Jets. I love Dante Moore, dude. He's a good. I don't know if that's you call it the Jeff curse, but he looks like a really good quarterback.
So I will stay away from Dante Moore.
He does. He really looks really good so far. And if the Jets are going to draft a quarterback, they have to. They have to draft a quarterback, dude. Like, but the problem is, it's like if you don't have a quarterback, you get fired, and if you have a chance to draft a quarterback, you got to get it right or you're fired. So, I mean, it sucks. That's why,
tough, man.
Like Dan Campbell getting Jared Goff, he's like, thank gosh. You get Jared Goff right away.
Yeah, they made that decision, and obviously the first 2 years were tough. But again, it's a different market, different franchise, all of that. I think AG is going to be fine. Personally, like I would let him ride it out. But I saw today on Twitter, there's a lot of people. I mean, you know how this league works, Jeff. A lot of people quickly are to, especially New York fans. Those are probably the most brutal out of them all. And they always lose. I saw a video or a picture today of like all of the past head coaches, the faces on the sideline, and they were like all the same of them. Like it looked like they were like dead in the face. And then the last one was just AG, and I was like, no, not our guy, man.
Dude, I know it's so tough. It's so tough. Dante, appreciate it. Member for 17 months since the beginning. Dante, we appreciate you. He says the Bengals was in Broncos territory only once.
And it was the opening possession, I believe.
And that Broncos defense is elite, though. That's elite.
So good, man. That secondary, the up front.
This Lions defense is playing well, too, man. Look what they did to Joe Flacco. I mean, shit. I mean, that team. It'll be a good one. And we have our good friend joining the show to help us break it down. Kory Woods covers the Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons, which is coming up in the near future here for MLive.com to help us break down the Browns game and preview the Bengals game and get some of his thoughts on some of the injuries that occurred. Please welcome to the show our good friend, Kory Woods. What's going on, Kory?
Hey, what's going on?
Kory, I appreciate you for joining, number one. Number two, I want to get your thoughts because we haven't been able to talk to you. Just on this past weekend, man, Lions taking care of business, beating the Browns, how good they looked, even though offensively they might not have played their best game. What do you think of the Lions and their ability to take care of teams they're supposed to take care of? Because we see the Packers struggle with that. They lose to the Browns, the same team. Packers have a shootout with the Cowboys. They can't finish those guys either. And then the Lions just seem to take care of teams they're supposed to take care of. Even though it was the Browns, Kory, what'd you make of that win for the Lions?
Well, there's a couple of ways you can look at that. I wouldn't look at it as just, whoa, what is going on right there? My computer just did a little bit of something. It said I need to plug in, so let me plug in. Let me go ahead and do that before I go ahead and shut off. But I think the one thing that you have to really take away from this is that they got the job done. They picked up the W. It is a Browns team that, yeah, their offense isn't clicking, but they have a very stout defense. We've seen that front. I mean, the pressure that Myles Garrett was getting was just crazy. It looked like Goff was running for his life just about every second. But, I mean, to put 34 points on that defense, that's nothing to sneeze at. So you got to go ahead and give them credit for that alone. And I'm going to chime back in as soon as I get this thing plugged up.
No, you're good. We were talking actually we were talking also this. I mean, you look at the I guess the contrast between the Lions beating the Browns, even though they're it's the Browns with that defense, and then we brought up the other day, Boone, how the Packers scored 10 points against that same team.
Against that Browns, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mean,
perspective a little bit on what this Lions offense can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in the Packers, and we'll get to our power rankings later, by the way, which we're going to do those. But yeah, you got to take those wins as they come, man. Who gives a shit? But
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like Dan Campbell said, you're never going to apologize for a win. You know, sometimes good teams have tough days in the office, and they just came off of a very tough win in Baltimore, short week. And Dan Campbell said it best, it's not good enough. I mean, the way they played if they played that way, let's say against the Eagles, even the Chiefs, who are kind of going through their own issues, you play like that against or the Rams, they'll play them later on. The Lions would lose that game because of the mistakes they made. The communication, the chemistry between Jared Goff and J-Mo wasn't there. There were a couple of times where J-Mo had bad ball tracking, but there were also some times where Goff himself admitted that he could have done a better job of getting the ball to him. I think that was pretty much just a really big thing that kind of stuck out to me the most, was that they just couldn't get that going, and David Montgomery couldn't get it going. But aside from that, I mean, it was a solid performance, and I think that you got to go ahead and hang your hat on just being able to find different ways to win games, because that's what it's all about. I know we see what they did to the Chicago Bears, and we know how high-powered this offense is, and people are expecting, you got to go ahead and blow every opponent out. No, I mean, this is the NFL. There's blowouts don't happen every week. Teams don't get bludgeoned like that every week. So just take this as it is, and you just hope that they take Dan's words and roll that into Sunday against Cincinnati, because now if you're going ahead and going up against Cincinnati and you knock them down and you improve the 4-1, okay, now these next two games, you're hoping to go into the bye week at worst 6-2, but at best 7-1.
Yeah, Kory. One thing too, I think one of the most the things that I want to hear from you the most on, in your opinion, the injuries in the secondary with DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold. Just want to get your confidence level, Kory, in kind of moving forward, especially without DJ Reed, and when TA gets back, and then obviously you have Amik and Rocky Sin, and then today they just signed Trey Flowers to the practice squad. I know the next week, obviously with Jake Browning, it's hard to tell, but you do have, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And then the next week it's Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy and those guys. And then right after that, it's the Bucs with Emeka Ibuka, potentially Mike Evans, like a really deep wide receiver room as well. Are you confident the next 2 or 3 weeks with this corner room, or how do you think they're going to go about figuring this thing out with these major injuries that they've had?
Well, the good thing that Dan Campbell said is that they're only expecting Terrion Arnold to miss this upcoming game. And I think when you look at the way the Bengals have been playing in the past couple of weeks, yeah, they still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But, I mean, if you've seen that game, I mean, these guys have only scored, 13 points over the last 2 weeks without Joe Burrow, and they've given up 76. So, and also on top of that, I mean, when you're looking at this, I know I'm going on a little bit off the board, but just looking at the total overall game, I mean, their defense is giving up 270 yards in the air. So I know we're talking about how the corners are going to look. I think that they're going to be fine overall, is as long as the Lions are able to their defense is able to show up. I think if they're able to generate pressure on Jake Browning with that front seven, I think it will be able to make for an easy day in the office, or an easier day in the office for that secondary. Amik Robertson, he showed up last year when Carlton Davis went down. He played stellar defense on Justin Jefferson. And then, you got Khalil Dorsey, you got Avonte Maddox, you got Rocky Sin. Some of those guys you could probably rotate in. I think that those guys will be solid for a game or two. And the great thing about it is that, DJ Reed, they're not expecting him to be gone for the season. So I think that they could get creative with how they dial up, how they disguise their coverages and whatnot. But Campbell said it best. He said that he told Brad that they're going to probably need a body for, at worst, the practice squad, and hence you see the signing you just mentioned. But I'm thinking that if Reed is on an injury where he does not have to go to IR, I think they'll be fine over the next couple of weeks. If he does have to go to IR, though, then you're talking about 4 weeks minimum, and then trying to ramp him back up. You might need to probably explore some things by the trade deadline.
Yeah, Kory, another one, Lee McNeil, which I know Dan brought up that he's close to returning. What kind of impact do you kind of foresee with him? I know this defensive line is playing really well. Tyleik Williams obviously thriving. He's getting better every single game, it seems like. And you have DJ Reader. But what would the impact of Lee McNeil make for this defensive line, kind of heading to a tougher stretch of the schedule the next couple of weeks?
Well, I would say this. He's coming off of a very serious injury. I mean, we're talking about the ACL, so we're talking about a guy that big coming back that quickly. I question it, but at the end of the day, they have doctors that have degrees and stuff in this. So
Fair.
who am I to judge? But if the doctors clear him and he's ready to go, hey, roll him out there. I mean, it can only be a plus. The way they're rolling right now, I don't think you need to go ahead and throw Mack in there and give him 100% of the snaps. I think you can kind of slow roll him in there. They're talking about getting him back in there for the bye, so maybe slow roll him in there a little bit over the next couple of games whenever they get him back, and kind of go from there. I think probably the ideal situation would be to throw him in there at the game right before the bye week, go into the bye week, and then have him come back and kind of start getting him back to his normal production, to his normal snap count after that. And then too, it's gonna be good for that line. I mean, you're able to rotate in Tyleek Williams and to spell Reader and Mack when needed. And Tyleek is obviously going to be the guy for the future. I think it can only help them out right now. And the fact that they're playing this well without McNeil, I mean, it's only a plus to get a guy like that back. I mean, we're talking about somebody that was on a Pro Bowl arc last year.
Yeah, one thing too, Kory, through 4 weeks, we've talked with you every week. Can I just get a player from you, maybe on each side of the ball, that's kind of surprised you from what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks here, offensively and defensively?
I will say, okay, offensively, I don't want to say I'm surprised, but as well as Jahmyr, we know Jahmyr Gibbs is great. We know he's dynamic. I just thought that I would have seen a little bit more usage of David Montgomery in certain situations. We know he had a rough day in the offense versus the Browns, but we also know what he did on Monday versus the Ravens. But I thought I would just see him, utilized a little bit more. I think you need to find a way to get him more than 9 carries in a game. On defense, I don't know if there's anybody that's really surprising me, but there's one guy I will just highlight. Unfortunately, he's not going to he should be coming back for this game. So Zach Cunningham, I just think that is a guy that has just been a great pickup for them. He obviously did not play on this past week, but he just been a guy that is, I don't like Kelvin Shepherd said, I don't know how he's not a starter in this league. Every time he comes in the game, it's like he's always making a play or impacting the defense in a positive manner. So those would be the two things that I would say stuck out to me.
Yeah, Kory, what'd you make of the offensive line? I mean, they have a lot of sack in 3 games. It hasn't happened for the Lions. I mean, since I think the day they started using the word Super Bowl. We've never seen it with Matthew, and even with this offensive line being as good as it has been, not to take anything away from how great it's been. What have you made of just new look offensive line the last 3 games? Not allowing a sack. I know against the Browns, it was a lot of Jared maneuvering in the pocket and preventing a sack. But just your thoughts on the offensive line, how they're gelling together through 3 games or 4 games now at this point.
I mean, it's a little bit bigger than that, Jeff. I mean, this is the first time that the Lions have gone 3 games without allowing a sack since they created the stat itself.
Oh shit! All right,
Yeah. So I mean, that's just, it's a fact. Since 1982, this is when they started creating stats as a stack. Sacks as a stat. That's a tongue twister. That's the first time the Lions have gone 3 straight games without allowing one, and it just goes to show you that after what happened to them in week 1, the guys, the coaches, the players, they weren't giving lip service. They said that it was communication errors. They said that it was fixable. I talked to Christian Mahakany personally. He said that he took ownership for his errors in week 1. He was really explosive about it. He said it's all communication. I'm not basically said I'm not bullshitting you. This is all communication. It can get fixed, and you're seeing it. Yeah, Myles Garrett, got some pressure on him on Sunday, but I mean, that's Myles freaking Garrett. And I mean, and also too, they got Malik out there. Mason Graham, that's a pretty darn good defensive line. So the fact that they were able to do what they did on week 2 and week 3, because the Bears got a nice defensive line as well, and then you do that again against that Browns unit, just goes to show you that Hank Fraley, Dan Campbell, John Moore, that whole unit, they got that together.
Yeah, another thing here, Kory, too, something that Jeff and I talked about, especially with these Dan Campbell press conferences, we actually brought up yesterday. We haven't really heard him talk about Josh Pascal at all. And then obviously Malcolm Rodriguez, and there's going to be some reinforcements outside of Ali McNeil in this. Do you have any idea or a thought process on, let's say, like Malcolm Rodriguez and Josh Pascal going into the next few weeks? Because those were guys like Josh was, someone that I felt like a lot of us thought might have been back within the first few weeks. And then obviously Malcolm was a little bit more longer. I think they said like November. Do you think that those are 2 guys that are going to be returning here in the next month or so?
I would say, just from whispers I'm hearing, I could see Rodrigo returning at some point. I don't know an exact date, but I mean, just hearing things, I could probably see Rodrigo returning at some point. I don't know when, so don't quote me on that as saying, hey, Kory's saying Rodrigo's back. But Josh Pascal, that is just something that is he's on a non-football injury list. So it sounds like something else is going on. They haven't tipped their hand on what that is. So I don't know if he's a guy that you can kind of bank on being around anytime soon. That's also another thing when you're talking about trade deadline moves, that they may have to go ahead and go add another pass rusher because you don't know what's going to go on with Josh Pascal.
Yeah, that thing's I don't know what's going on with that. Well, I don't know if maybe have they. Well, we'll find out. Maybe someone will ask it at a press conference or something like that.
It's come up loosely. It's just been the same thing. It's been really tight-lipped. Just he's not coming along at the way that they would have hoped by now. So maybe that's something that'll come up again tomorrow. But I mean, it's pretty much been the same thing anytime you bring up Pascal's name. But I will say this: we have seen him around the facility. It's just that there's no timetable on when he's returning.
That's fair. Before we get you out of here, Kory, can I just get your thoughts on how you think this Bengals game is going to go? You can say if you think it's going to be an absolute ass whooping, but what are you kind of looking to see against the Bengals here? I know it's the Bengals; they stink, but anything matchups or anything you want to see continue for the Lions against this team, or rebound against this team?
I just think the main thing for the Lions is just to not look at what the Bengals have done over the past couple of weeks without Joe Burrow. Don't look at the amount of points they've given up over the past couple of games. They need to just go out there and do what they've done to bad teams in recent years and not steamroll them. That's not let up. I mean, there are some times you will see games where it feels like the better team is playing down to their competition. They're in a really rare position right now where they have a chance to go into this bye week, like I said, as at best 7-1. At worst, they should be 6-2. But and then if you want to talk about where that second loss will come from, I'm thinking that Tampa's tough.
Yeah. We said Tampa or Kansas City probably one.
I can see them losing to. I think that KC is very beatable. Tampa is just going to be that's a coin flip for me.
Yeah.
It starts though with Sunday in Cincinnati. You just can't go in there and play around, make it a business trip, go in there, handle business. The things that Dan Campbell, we don't know what the intricate details of what he said needs to be cleaned up. We all might have an idea, but clean that up this weekend. Go out there, handle business, and try to go ahead and end this road trip at worst 1-1.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the hell out of your Kory. You guys can follow Kory, of course, at Kory E. Woods on X and check him out. Does great work for MLive.com. Kory, much love to you, my friend. We'll see you next time. We'll catch you.
Thanks a lot. Peace.
Appreciate it, Kory.
Kory Woods joining the show here. Fighting through with his computer basically almost dying there. But he's doing great. Yeah, the Josh Pascal question, I don't think anyone knows. I don't think.
Yeah, I think we just keep. And Doc texted me back and said he was going to ask, or we might ask. I think it's just we just keep asking around until we figure something out here.
Yeah, and the thing I'm trying to have a balance between we're media. We want our job is to get information to share with people that follow us for information, but then there's a balance of is it maybe something that is maybe private matter? Maybe it is something pretty serious that they don't want to share. I don't know.
I mean, no one's. I don't think.
I don't know.
It's gotten brought up in the media room. I could be wrong, but I text Doc about it and he said okay. Like no one. Like I feel like if it was asked or it was brought up, and they told him, because there might be things. I don't know if they say this to reporters. We could.
That's where I was going to bring
up.
But
if they say, "Hey guys, don't ask this question. There's something going on." Okay, but I texted Doc about it. Doc's there all the time, so I would think the Doc or even Kory here would have been like, "Hey, they did mention it's a private matter," or the Doc would have texted me and said, "Hey, off the record, don't say anything, but it's a private matter." He did not do that, and there have been things where Doc has hit us up, "Hey, off the record," and when we handled that well. The Josh thing, I texted him yesterday about it, and he was just like, I was like, "Can you ask about it, or can someone ask about it?" And he said, "Okay, gotcha." That was it. So I think that it's just something that hasn't been obviously at the end of the day, there's a million questions during the season and preseason to ask these guys, right? You're not going to get to everything, but I'm sure the doc will, I'll remind him the next time he sees Dan if he can ask the question. I think it's a good thing because he's a piece, dude. I know a lot of people joke around. I mean, I don't know they joke around. A lot of people always be like, well, Josh Pascal, what? Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like, what are we talking about? He's a good piece to have on this D line. Maybe not as a full-time starter like he was last year, but you're talking about a guy who has started for you full-time that wasn't a bum. He was good. Like, he was a very solid starter for you to where you throw him as depth. Like, that's in my opinion, that's a guy who has started for you and held his own. If you have him as depth and bench, that's a really good depth and bench player. That, in my opinion, that's how I look at it. So I would like to get him back, and obviously, hopefully, prayers up that there's nothing serious. Again, I know he's had cancer situations and things like that in the past. Hopefully, nothing has arisen and there's things going on like that. But I'm just interested in to know if it's not that and it's like an actual injury. What's the timeline on that?
Well, the clues you have is that he's on the non-football injury list. So
okay, so it could be something.
It could
in regards
be
to
something.
that,
it could be
which is
something
sad.
in regards to cancer. But again, the worst thing to do is to speculate, and it's maybe not. I don't know.
That's why I think it's just like, hey, maybe Doc will ask, like, get it out there. Because I'm not saying that anything of this is a bad way. I would like to have Josh Pascal back on this D line.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He's a good piece.
Yeah.
Especially with the loss to the Levi O thing and having Levi O out. Josh would have been is a massive piece to that.
Yeah, I actually forgot Levi O. I totally forgot he was.
This D line could have been, honestly. I know we go at Brad a lot about this D line about not being prepared with Za'Darius. If this D line was healthy, with Levi O, Ali McNeil, Josh Pascal, AQM, and Davenport was healthy, what you have out there doing what they're doing the last 2 weeks, and you add those 5 guys. I mean, for goodness sake, dude. You see what I'm saying? That actually is not a bad D line.
Listen, what we've always said, and you can go back, everything's recorded. What we've always said is this D line was going to be good.
Yes.
We just thought with Za'Darius, they'd be even better, and they'd have more depth because of Davenport. That's really
the tweet I put out, and I got ridiculed for it. Half of the people loved me, and now the other half hated me, and it did 1 million views about me putting out there, I said, hey, if this Detroit Lions defensive line is fully healthy, it's one of the more underrated defensive lines in the NFL because of the players you do have. Now, the health part is the one, because when you move Josh and Levi O to the bench instead of starting, you're automatically that much better because of it.
Yeah. I know someone said, let me see.
Imagine we still had James Houston.
Kept James Houston.
Yeah, I didn't even see that comment. It literally popped in my head. Because, dude, did you about that Cowboys game? They kept talking about, the broadcast was bringing up James Houston. They were like, they need to get James Houston in the game more. And he was like causing havoc.
Well, he has 2 sacks in 4 games.
James Houston.
But
he was just out of shape, dude. Honestly, he was just out of shape.
Yeah, he just can't defend the run, but neither really can AQM. So it's not like it's but AQM's obviously been better this year than he has. But just for depth, if they wanted more depth there, Houston's I mean, he's all right over there with Dallas. He's having a pretty good, he's having a decent year. Yeah, 2 sacks in 4 games is
sick, dude.
I'm not going to sit here and pound the table like the Lions messed up.
I mean, at the time, he was struggling to make the team because he was coming off that injury, and you could tell he might not have been in full shape. Remember, we were going to training camps, and he was constantly off to the side, and it was just dude, you're just not ready to play football. It felt like, and you just couldn't afford to have him on the squad at that point. And then guys started getting hurt, and then obviously at that point, you probably could have got him back on the team because you needed more depth. But
we actually had some. We didn't even mention this today. Oh, by the way, I think what we're going to start doing every week is instead of having a specific day for Flannel, I think he's just going to pop in on random shows. I think this is how we're going to do this. I think I kind of like this better. You never know what day Flannel's joining the program.
Random Flannels, and
he's joining today. The chat had no idea it was happening. Flannel Sam is joining today, so we're going to get to chop it up with him about Lions football, Tigers. Get his thoughts and opinions on a lot of things. So he will be joining us in a couple of minutes. But before we get Flannel on, allow me to tell you about our friends over at Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings and their 1-day installation for concrete floor coatings. Because right now during Comer and Cross, the sale they have going on, they're offering 12 months, same as cash, or $500 in savings. So give them a call, 248-834-3488. They'll transform your pool deck, your driveway, your basement, even your patio. They'll move the stuff out for you too. They take care of their customers. It's what they do. Especially if you're sick and tired of staring at your crack stained garage floor. Comer and Cross will solve that issue for you. 248-834-3488, or you can book your free estimate at comercross.com. Tell them your friends over at Crunch Time Sports sent you. All right, let's bring on our good friend here, former co-host of the Morning Woodward Show and Wake Up Woodward, one of the most entertaining men in the entire business.
There we go.
Flannel?
Hey.
How are we doing?
Flannel.
I mean, I'm doing great. Honestly, the result of the Tiger game was going to determine my mood for the show, so I'm in a good mood. I'm in a fantastic mood, actually. I am buzzing right now still.
Hey, shout out Riley Green, too. A nice double there today.
Yeah, was that clutch, people? Was that clutch? Does he deserve to celebrate this one or not? God. I'm sorry, and we might get to this later, but
no, let's get to Tigers. Let's talk. What do we think? What's on your mind?
no, I mean, I'll just start out with the game because I don't want to, bloviate about Riley Green too much because that's kind of more of a personal vendetta. But the most important thing is the Tigers got the win, and Tarek Skubal was absolutely brilliant. I mean, 7 2/3, 14 strikeouts, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 3 walks. He was the Cy Young winner that we know that he is, and he's going to be for the second year in a row. And you love to see it. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of us fans had hope that even though the Tigers blew the division in basically the whole second half, specifically in September, they were set up in a 3-game series to maybe go in and steal one from the Cleveland Guardians. As long as you can get one more, I mean, Skubal, I don't want to say he did his job because he was absolutely phenomenal, but this is a team, the Tigers, who have had some offensive struggles and some situational hitting struggles. And unfortunately, in a couple of cases, that reared its ugly head again. They were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. However, Tarek Skubal just basically shut down the entire Cleveland Guardians lineup. There weren't a lot of hard hit balls, and the one run they scored was kind of a weird chopper back to the pitcher, kind of no man's land that Jose Ramirez scored on from second. It was really, really frustrating, but glad the Tigers were able to get that run in the 7th inning. Shout out Zach McKinstry on that bunt. Shout out Matt Broder. He loves bunting. I don't. You win this round, bud. Glad to have you win this round. And Will Vest, he did what he did for most of the season, which was shut the door pretty much. Some absolutely excellent clutch pitching coming in the 8th, runner on second, 2 outs with a 1-run lead, was able to get Naylor to ground out. And then in the bottom of the 9th, we all remember that hard hit ball. It was Jose Ramirez. Yep. Javi makes a nice play, delivers the ball a little bit low, but it should have been picked by Torque. Jose Ramirez gets all the way to third, but Will Vest is able to get out of it. He's able to strike out Valera. He induces a ground ball back to the pitcher, in which Jose Ramirez, it looked like he was going on contact. He gets himself thrown out. So then that third out is quite a bit less stressful because now you're looking at runner on first, 2 outs instead of runner on third, 2 outs. Will Vest gets the job done. He had a rough month of September, like a lot of Tigers did, but he definitely had some atonement and was the Will Vest that we knew and loved for most of the season today.
There was a little nerve-wracking in the bottom of the 9th there, Flannel.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's crazy, too. I said on the show earlier today, I think it's nuts, the fact that, and I think it shows exactly what the Tigers are as a whole the last month, where you have Tarek Skubal literally have one of the greatest playoff performances out of a pitcher that anyone's probably ever seen, 14 strikeouts and going through 8, essentially. And then all of a sudden, this Tigers team still, 1, they can't score enough runs to pull away, and 2, they almost blow the lead in the bottom of the 9th. With the Jose Ramirez thing. Like, if I'm Skubal, I'm sitting there going, this is insane. Like, I just had 14 strikeouts and you guys can't just give me a win, like a chance at this thing. Like, this is insane.
No, I'm so glad they were able to pull that out for Skubal. And one thing Tarek Skubal is also proving to be, because there are some pitchers who are great in the regular season, but don't really show up in the playoffs, i.e. Clayton Kershaw, Greg Maddux. Tarek Skubal had that one start where he kind of ran out of gas in game 5 of last year's ALDS, but he has the amazing start today. And in his other 2 starts in last year's playoffs, 13 combined innings, 0 earned runs. Tarek Skubal is a playoff ace, a playoff horse, obviously a regular season ace. He's the best pitcher on planet Earth, and I'm so glad that he's ours for now.
Hey, by the way, nobody appreciate the $2. Says I miss you, Flannel. Shout out to nobody for that.
You know what? I miss you too. I don't miss everybody, but I miss you.
Can we ask this? Usually people say who they miss. That's always a big thing, right? Like, hey, I miss you, man, all that. Can we get a couple people that you don't miss? Like, let's do the opposite here. Let's have an opposite day. Who do you not miss, Flannel? Do you have any names?
Auteur, Just a Fan. I know Just a Fan's in the chat right now. Crazy Clown. And I know some in the chat.
Oh, you got all the
here. Auteur usually is here.
There's just a few that I can think of, but I appreciate you guys patronizing this show, and I hope to Phil. Oh my goodness, Phil! I almost forgot about Phil.
You don't miss Phil?
Oh no!
No. Hey, you know what Phil sent the boys?
What'd he send the boys?
Little electric guitar action.
Phil sent the boys a guitar.
I mean, that's. So basically, Phil just hates me. That's fine. I mean, that's very, very nice. That's very, very nice of Phil to hook you guys.
Phil said hi, Sam.
Hello.
He just said hello. Crazy Clown has a comment as well. There's Crazy Clown's comment to that.
No, you guys are way more tolerable when I don't have to see you every day. But hey, I'm glad that you guys are all here, though. For real.
Do you miss Hugh Jasmine? He just sent $5. His flannel gets my cheese wet.
I do. That's an odd thing to say, but you know what? I'll
thought you were dead until you showed up a couple weeks ago.
Oh no, I'm very much alive and I'm very much living well. I can assure you of that. And I'm glad to be with the boys.
Phil did say he loves you, Sam. So we did get confirmation.
We're working on it.
That's a relationship under repair right now.
Yeah,
we're figuring that one out. I get that.
Flannel, would you we and Booner were talking about this too, just like the narrative the Tigers actually making the playoffs, what side of the fence were you kind of on? Were you more, I think it's dumb if you're not excited your teams in the postseason. This franchise made it 18 times, and they haven't made back-to-back playoff appearances in like a decade. So the fact that they made it is obviously you'll take it even if it looked ugly. But what was your feeling as a fan when they almost choked away the playoffs and then they snuck in? Were you like, man, screw this team, I'm upset but also excited? Like, what was your feeling? What was the vibe of you as a fan going into the playoffs of the Tigers? Like excitement level and confidence level, all that stuff.
I wanted them in, and don't get me wrong. There's
a lot of people that did not want them in for whatever reason. I don't know.
A day like today in a 3-game series where a lot can happen, and you have Tarek Skubal going, and a Cleveland Guardians team that isn't that great anyway. That's the reason why you want the Tigers to at least get in and give themselves a shot. Was it gutting and heartbreaking and maddening? And were there a lot of times where I was like, screw this team during this collapse? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, baseball's a grind. Baseball's a 162-game season. Even though it ended so bad, just the fact that they got in for the second year in a row, that is impressive. I'll be honest, though. Would I be singing a little bit of a different tune if they went into Cleveland and got swept? Probably, but this is a Tiger team that can now play a little bit more loose. They don't have this weight of a historic collapse on their shoulders every day. And to be honest, if they're able to go into Cleveland and win game 2 or game 3 and take the series, that pretty much makes everything okay. Then you're in a situation where, you'd take your result instead of Cleveland's. You'd rather make the wild card, but win the round than win the division and lose the round if you had to choose between the two. Obviously, the most ideal situation would be to keep winning at a high level and getting a 1 or 2 seed and a bye and home field advantage in the ALDS. But given the Cleveland or Tiger choices, who would you rather be right now? Right now, today, at 9:07 on Tuesday night, you'd rather be the Detroit Tigers because they're in the driver's seat to win the series, even though they choked away the division. 100%.
Yeah, Flannel, I saw a lot as well this week, or just kind of leading into the playoffs. I got to see a lot of different like playoff predictions. Everyone's putting out their predictions with the bracket. A lot of national media is doing it. I actually surprisingly saw a lot of Detroit Tigers going pretty far, like beating the Guardians, beating Seattle, going to play, I think, like the Yankees, maybe either losing or going to the World Series. So it feels like a lot of media and a lot of people do think that even though this Tigers team in the last month struggled as bad as they did, it does feel like there's a lot of people out there who still believe that this team is that good to where if they get hot, they could go on a run and make a run at the World Series. Maybe not to win it, but a chance to get to it. Do you think there's a chance if they let's say they win tomorrow, that you truly believe they can go on and beat the Mariners and then kind of continue that run?
The only way that they'll be able to do that is if Skubal continues to be immaculate. And I don't want to get in, and it sucks because I do think we're in a situation where Skubal is going to have to go 6 or 7 damn near every night and give up 2 or less. And that's a lot to ask of someone. But at the end of the day, I mean, if he can get rest, if the Tigers can take care of this series really quick, he can pitch a couple games in the next series. I think that if I'm being honest, I think that their ceiling is the ALCS. I think they could win a 5-game series if they're fortunate enough to get past the Guardians. A 7-game series, that's a little bit tough. That's when you would need Skubal to continue to be Skubal, but also Mize or Flaherty to be more reliable, Will Vest, Kyle Finnegan to be reliable bullpen arms, and you would need one of your all-stars to get hot again, like Riley Green, or even guys who weren't all-stars like Torque or Carpenter, or against lefties, Jahmai Jones. If I'm just giving my prediction, I think that the Tigers probably lose in the ALDS, but I would also say the ALCS is very possible. I know that I'm kind of straddling the fence right now, but that's just, playoff baseball is weird. It's a day-to-day thing. Games can swing series all the time. So right now, I say probably a really close loss in the ALDS, like maybe a 5-game series, because they wouldn't have game 5 at home either, which is huge.
I like it. Hey, and this is, you know what? This is I like this. This Flannel seems a little more optimistic.
Yeah.
Maybe cautiously, but he seems optimistic. Maybe I don't know what I expected, but
it's the jersey he has on.
Yeah, it's the jersey. Can you explain the jersey, by the way, why you wear that? So people understand the context of that?
Yes, I can, but it's also going to make me a little bit bad, but somebody who pays up my bets. There was a time early on in the regular season, this was back in late April, where Riley Green was in a horrific slump. And unfortunately, he's had a few of those throughout the season, but this was the first one. He was in the midst of a 1-for-32, I believe. And then he got, which kind of carried over into a 7-for-55, and all 7 of those hits were singles. He just didn't look right at the plate. His OPS had plummeted to like 624. And I'm not going to lie, as somebody who's a Tigers fan, but also a Riley Green stan who did a lot of victory lapping for the season he had before and the season the Tigers had before, I was pretty devastated. So I came into the show the next day, had a couple at 8 a.m. That's how upset I was. And basically said, if Riley Green continues to play this way, the minors aren't out of the realm of possibility. I wish I wouldn't have said that. In hindsight, that would have been a little bit reactionary. But the next day, I believe it was the next day or either the same day, I said that if and when Riley Green gets his OPS over 800, which he did really, really quickly, by the way, I would wear a Riley Green jersey every single show for the rest of this baseball season, no matter how long it takes, no matter how long the Tigers are in the playoffs. And I've done it. You can mark me on this. If you watch any of my shows on Woodward, you'll see Riley Green jersey every day. If you see any of my appearances on Crunch Time, Riley Green jersey every day. And that's,
I respect it.
That's like my way of showing that I'm a man of my word, because I shouldn't have ever said what I said about Riley Green, but I also am happy that he was able to turn it around. So I'm happy to pay this bet off. I mean, there's worse things in the world than wearing a Riley Green jersey on every show. I mean, I can wash it, especially now when it's only like one day a week, it's no problem at all.
Could have shaved your head, Sam, if you wanted to. That's
man, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
that was wild. That was wild.
Good thing you didn't do that. Yeah, it's I'll never put my hair on the line again. That's one of the dumbest things I could have done. So yeah, I like the fly. Maybe I'll start doing jerseys like you do.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I like that. Before I want to get your thoughts before we get to like the Bengals. I want to ask your thoughts on like the Bengals game and stuff. What's your thoughts on this past Lions game? This Lions win against the Browns. What'd you make of it? I know you're a lot of different angles to take on it, but what'd you make of that dominant performance from Sunday?
I think it's the way that you blow out a team like the Browns, because the Browns, they proved that they have a good defense. They showed it. They intercepted Jared Goff once. They forced 5 punts. They forced a key turnover on downs. That could have been key if their offense could do anything. They held Jared Goff to a pretty pedestrian game by his standards, a 46 QBR and an 87 rating. However, the defense really stepped up against a Cleveland Browns offense. I didn't think they'd get to 14. They got to 10, so I was right on that one. But the defense was able, and the special teams, by the way, was able to make things really easy on the team overall. I mean, Kirby Joseph had that interception, which the ball just seems to find him no matter what. He got that interception that led to a 16-yard field goal drive. DJ Reed's interception led to a 5-yard touchdown drive. Aiden Hutchinson's sack fumble led to a 20-yard touchdown drive. And of course, Khalif Raymond had that big punt return. That's how you blow out the Browns. You're not going to play basketball on grass. You're not going to move it up and down the field every single drive, but you need to make the Browns offense, which isn't good, look terrible. And the Lions did. And for the record, even the Lions offense, for how mid at times it looked, you still had 91 yards on 15 carries from Jahmyr Gibbs and a touchdown. You still had 7 for 70 and 2 touchdowns by Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Goff to St. Brown connection is still as good as there is in the NFL. And Jared Goff, even though Myles Garrett put a lot of pressure on him and the Browns defense pressured Goff quite a bit, Goff didn't get sacked one time. Even though it's the Browns and the Browns aren't good, that was a really, really nice win. They're not all going to be works of art, and sometimes you're going to have your defense really, really carry the load for the most part. Styles make fights, and against a team like the Browns, that's how you're going to have to beat them, and that's what the Lions did.
Yeah, you're one of the big storylines from that game, man. It's a defensive player of the year. I mean, Booner was over here slapping, stickers on his head saying defensive player of the year.
He's on his way. He's favored now.
Hey, Flannel, we've now entered the territory. He's one of the favorites to win it. He should have had 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in that game. I'll die on that hill. All right, Brian Branch, you got to give Aiden something, man. You got to get you got to get it. Maybe I don't know. Take care of him in some other way. But you stole a sack and a forced fumble from that man. You should have 3 and 2 forced fumbles. But what do you make of Aiden's pace so far this year? I mean, that's your guy. He's your Michigan man. What do you think? He looks pretty healthy to me after week 1.
No, Aiden's been great really the whole season. If you want to say the first game against the Packers, there were some growing pains, that's fine. But against the Browns, he might have been the best overall NFL from this weekend. Like when you really think about it, 2 sacks, forced fumble, 4 quarterback hits. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Max Crosby. I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. I'm looking at Stafford and Puka. Those to me were the 5 best players of the entire weekend. And Aiden has every right to claim that as anybody. I think right now he probably needed a game like that to really, because being in the defensive player of the year running, that's not something that you can just do. That's not something that just goes on trees. You have to eventually put up those monster numbers. And Aiden Hutchinson was putting up good numbers, but this is the game that really catapults him to where you can comfortably say, yeah, he is the favorite. And right now I would put him at the favorite. And they're playing the Bengals this upcoming week. That could be a game where he feasts again, quite frankly.
Flannel?
Go ahead, Boo.
Yeah.
I just want your honest opinion about something.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. Can we put him right now? Where are you putting him? Can we put him above
Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts, who had 0 passing yards in the second half, and
almost lost the game?
Just kidding.
No, I can't yet. And
You can't.
no, because one regular season game doesn't change anything.
Did you see the 0 passing yards in the second half, Flannel?
Oh, for 8, and they almost lost the game after they were up like 3 touchdowns.
They almost lost a game where they went into undefeated Tampa Bay and still ended up winning. It's
But
not about what you do.
For 8 in the second half, 0 passing yards. If Jared Goff
Flannel,
did that,
that's
he would
wrong.
be ridiculed. He would be called like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL if Jared Goff went 0 for 8 with 0 yards.
Well, maybe some people would, but I wouldn't if the Lions still won and if Jared Goff contributed enough in the first half or in other factions of the game in order for the Lions to win. I still got Jalen Hurts over Jared Goff. I just think the resume is too good.
The resume is good.
The resume is fantastic.
The resume is good. But here's the thing, and I ask you, like, the thing I guess I can't get over is how can a top 5 quarterback go 0 for 8 for 0 yards in the second half? A top 5 quarterback.
You're not top 5. You're
not top 5.
Borderline 10.
Take away
if
golf
that
for a
happens.
second. Like it's not even. But take away the golf. Just top 5 in the entire league, and he goes 0 for 8 for 0
Flannel
passing yards.
He looks so like no.
The way you climb those rankings though isn't necessarily what you do in week 4 of the regular season. I mean, one of the reasons why I have the rankings where I have them, which is Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, and then Hurts, is because it's a combination of being prodigious in the regular season, like Lamar Jackson, being prodigious in the regular season, but putting up really good playoff numbers, but your team not getting the job done, like a Josh Allen, like Joe Burrow, having a lot of team playoff success and putting up prodigious numbers. Obviously, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's got the best resume by a mile. It's an all-encompassing thing. What you do in one regular season game where your team wins a really tough game, by the way, isn't going to make him plummet in my eyes, especially when he did a lot to help them win. He wasn't good in the second half, but he did a lot to help them win that game. Talking about Jalen Hurts.
Now, do you think, and this is a serious question, if you put Jalen Hurts on this Detroit Lions team, do you think they would win as many games with Jared Goff?
The problem is that they're just two really different types of quarterbacks. I think they both play in offenses that really fit their skill set, because I've never argued that Jalen Hurts was as good of a thrower of the football or had like the pocket presence and just the timing that Jared Goff does. But I continue to say it. Jalen Hurts leads the whole NFL in rushing touchdowns since 2021. The whole NFL, and that's not even including his passing numbers.
Booner,
whole
Booner,
NFL.
Basically, what Flannel's saying is everything that encompasses playing quarterback, Jared's better than, but the mental and Jalen Hurts.
Besides the tush push, then Jalen Hurts got him the tush push because he can squat
rushing
400.
the ball, Flannel. That's all you
Not
got.
even rushing, just the tush push. He's got him the tush push.
He's also
He said timing, passing. I mean, he pretty much described like all the important things of being
Pre-snap motion pre-snap plays, audibles, reading the defense, preparing for the game, leading his team. But he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
And he had a second place finish in MVP in 2022, and he has a Super Bowl MVP.
Jared he didn't finish, I guess, second.
He was top 5.
He was the top
and
5.
Jared Goff in no universe has a Super Bowl MVP.
In the last 3 years, or the last 2 or 3 years, Jared Goff has more MVP votes than Jalen Hurts.
That's fine. Good thing it's all encompassing. It's not just about, in the last 2 years, because in 2022,
2 years, sorry, 2 years.
In 2022, Jalen Hurts.
In the last 2 seasons, Jared Goff has more MVP votes than Jalen Hurts.
All right, fine. I still got Jalen Hurts slightly ahead of Jared Goff. Like, I'd probably have Goff at like 7 or 8 and Hurts at 5. It's not that big a deal.
Well, I guess
this might be one of the greatest comments of all time. Silent put tush push touchdowns are as important as Jamal Williams' 17 touchdown season.
Well, good thing Jalen Hurts does a lot more than that. Silent, you false equivalency making MFer. Come on now. Like, so Jalen Hurts is Jamal Williams. Fine. Like go ahead. That helps you live with yourself.
I guess the overall question is, will Jalen Hurts pass for 20 passing touchdowns this year? That's really the question. Do you think he cracks 20?
1,000%. He got 2 in the last game, despite his horrific game that should place him to 25th in the rankings. He still had 2 last week. He's going to get 20.
25th in the rankings is so crazy.
He's going to get 35 combined.
He
rushing
right
and
now is
passing.
27th in the NFL in passing yards.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
And
fine.
he's 27th in the NFL in passing yards and 17th in passing touchdowns.
He's
That's
still
top
going to
5.
finish the season with 35 combined passing and rushing touchdowns. You wait. It is going to happen 100%.
Hey, you know,
And
it's
I'm going to
funny.
have to hear about us how he stinks and is a tush push merchant. It's insane. It's insane.
He is a tush push merchant. That's a fact.
literally not true.
It literally is true.
How many-
Like
do we have the
over
data?
60. I think it's like 60 of his touchdowns in the last few seasons are all within 1 yard. Like
That
that's
can't be true.
that's tush. That's literally merchant.
That's not true.
No, okay. How many Jalen Hurts touchdowns
That's a big
are
one.
within 1 yard? Let's look it up.
If you could actually get this data quick, this is a big. Would be interesting. Flannel, would that change your perspective a little bit or no?
No, because it's about because Jalen.
Oh,
Hurts
here it
is
is.
the resume.
Jalen Hurts has scored 59 career rushing touchdowns on runs of 1 yard,
Okay.
or 2 yards. I think it's 2 yards here.
Yeah, 'cause
Fine.
they've gotten 2 yards on tush pushes before too. They've gotten like 1 or 2 yards.
And here's the tiebreaker: Jared Goff choked in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl MVP. That matters, guys. That matters. 100%.
Okay. All right.
I think we should start throwing what's his name from the Eagles who won the Super Bowl in there with this
Well, no.
conversation.
Okay, you
Yeah,
can't say
Nick-
no.
Nick
we
Foles was
can't bring it.
second
We're gonna have a better
MVP.
example than Nick Foles.
But that's okay. It's like if we're going to use
Nick
this
Foles
Super Bowl
stinks.
MVP as that example, I give Jalen Hurts credit for the Super Bowl MVP, but that doesn't mean just because you win one in your career doesn't automatically for every season like you're grandfathered into being top 5. Like, oh, you won a Super Bowl MVP, you're grandfathered in for the next 7 years of top 5 quarterbacks. That's not how this game works.
Technically, Joe Flacco won Super Bowl MVP.
So right now, so if Joe Flacco is top 5 in the NFL right now.
No, he's
No,
no,
You're using that as a standing point.
no.
no, what have I always said? Most rushing touchdowns in the NFL since 2021, a second place MVP voting in 2022. And oh, by the way, last year, even though his passing was just so god awful that he might as well not have had a right arm, 103 passer rating.
Hey, Flannel, what do you
Saquon
think?
Barkley wasn't on the team in 2022 either. Miles Sanders was his running back. But Saquon's been with the Eagles the whole time, right? The
Wait.
whole time.
Wait a second. You said what when they lost the Super Bowl they didn't have Saquon, but then when Saquon came they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And the Eagles
Interesting,
put
yeah.
up 35
But
points.
Jalen Hurts is
was
the
amazing.
reason top 5 quarterback.
All right, fine.
Hey, I'm
fine.
You
just saying,
proved yourself there. You gave me a point. You threw me a lob.
Booner, do you
Yeah,
have
I'm-
Jalen Hurts as somebody who's on getting benched watch, or he already should be benched? Which one, Booner? Which one?
Neither. I have him as probably like the 8th, 9th, 10th best quarterback in the NFL.
Fine. I'm not killing you for that. I just
I
think
just
that-
like messing with you, Flannel. Honestly,
It's a fun time.
I'll say this, Flannel. Joe Flacco last year, we can disrespect him. In 8 games with the Colts, he had 12 passing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 18 in 15 games. So Joe Flacco, he's
Joe Flacco better, right?
Joe Flacco.
He might be. Honestly, if you put Joe Flacco on this Eagles team,
Oh, shut up. Shut up. All right, we're done. Hey, Flannel, let me ask you about the game this weekend, huh? Bengals. You saw the Bengals game last night? That was disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. The Bengals are a disaster. Flannel, I'd shoot Zach Taylor out of a cannon. I'm getting him out.
I mean,
Shoot him and the GM both out of a cannon.
probably
Right.
more so the GM. In their last 2 games, the Bengals have been outscored by a combined 76-13, which is
GM can't
insane.
control that. Zach
Yeah.
Taylor, get the hell out of here. He's
The
done.
one thing I will say, though, I do think the Lions will win. I do think there's a chance that if the Bengals O-line can't protect Jake Browning, that the Lions will just kind of bum rush him. The one thing I will caution, and this is just the one thing, I still think the Lions are going to win, by the way. If somehow, some way, the Bengals can keep some pressure off of Jake Browning, one of the biggest matchups in the game is how are Chase and Higgins going to fare against a banged up Detroit Lions secondary that doesn't have DJ Reed. I'm not saying that I'm concerned in a way that the Bengals are going to win. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions won something more along the lines of like 30-24 instead of 35-7, if that makes sense. And the Bengals are also at home. It's only their second home game. I think there's a chance the Bengals can play it close, but if that O-line can't keep Browning protected, the Lions might get 7 sacks. We'll see.
Hey, Flannel, I don't care if they're at home. I don't care if they're at a landfill, like Dan Campbell says, Lions by 40. All right, that Bengals team, that Bengals team looks. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for the 4 guys now with Trey, but Joe, T, and Jamar. Feel so bad for them, and Trey Henderson as well. They need to free him. They
put him on a 1-year deal. They just redid his contract, and
I feel so bad. Those guys are. They're Joe Burrow's the only thing they have going. Joe and Jamar and T are the only thing they have going for them. They're paying only those 4 guys. I mean, they really don't have anything else. Orlando Brown is like their left tackle. He's been bad. They can't protect him. I mean, we played a clip earlier that they had 4 guys blocking a nose tackle. I mean, we don't know what's going on over there with the Bengals. So, it looks like the Lions are facing them right at a perfect time. I mean, there's always like it's the NFL, the corny, like, it's a week, every week, any given week. But great teams take care of teams they're supposed to beat, and I think the Bengals are exactly.
It's a great line you said there, Jeff.
Yeah. You just what it is. It's just a fact. I mean, I still believe in trap games. Like
so
that is.
Who'd you hear that line from?
Like you invented that line.
I think I did. I think I invented that line.
No, teams are. Me and Booner got in an argument last week about it. The meaning of a trap game. Booner doesn't believe in trap games.
No, I believe in trap games, but I think if you're a Super Bowl contender, as the Lions are, there's no such thing. You just take care of business with teams you're supposed to. It's the same thing with the Chiefs, the Eagles, et cetera, et cetera.
Which I actually agree with him on that. Doesn't mean they're absolved from any trap games ever. It could happen. But the Lions, we can agree, they take care of typically teams they're supposed to beat, and they usually blow them out. So.
No, and they're going to take care of business again. I could just see. I still have a lot of respect for the Bengals' top players, even though Joe Burrow's not there. And I do think that this Bengals team does end up winning 4 or 5 games, quite frankly. And we're going to see just how valuable Joe Burrow was last year. There's still people that put blame on last season for Joe Burrow, which I think is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy, Flannel.
The Bengals had 4 games in which they scored at least 33 points and lost. 4 times. Joe Burrow might have actually had, in a lot of ways, the best season of any quarterback, at least the best statistical season. I think it's a damn miracle that he led the Bengals to a winning record. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to get them in, but this Bengals team, even though I could see them making it kind of close against the Lions, I do think overall Joe Burrow made up a lot of deficiencies. I'll just say that. And now they don't have him. Jake Browning's a solid enough backup, but with this roster, with this O-line, with a defense that's going to give up a lot of points, it's going to be a rough year in Cincinnati. Like Joe Burrow could come back. I don't think he's eventually going to come back, but because by the time he could be eligible to come back, the Bengals might be 4-10, 4-11.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you before I do want to ask, because we're going to get into our power rankings after you. Who are like your top 5 NFL teams right now in the league? Who would you put top 5? No, you don't have to do order if you don't want, or I guess order would be more interesting. You got to do order actually. Top 5.
I would
this is huge.
I'd go Eagles 1. I would go Bills 2. This is tough. I feel like I might be forgetting someone.
No, we'll tell you. We'll throw teams if you forget any obvious ones.
I think you could put the Lions 3. I think you could.
Yep.
The Rams are up there too.
Great
for me.
pick.
Probably like 4. And
that last team, it could be a lot. I mean, you could go a couple different ways with it. There's a lot of 3.
A lot of teams lost this last week, and so it makes it harder. A lot of good teams lost because they played good teams. It just makes it a little harder.
The Kansas City Chiefs. I don't even give a F who doesn't like it. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh my!
Wow, dude,
they're not done. The reports of the dynasty being over were greatly exaggerated. I'll just say that.
Hey, I had the Chiefs in my top 10 at 9 or 10 when they were 1-2 or 0-2, I think, actually, whatever it was. I think it might have been 0, whatever it was. I had them in. I was the only one just because I was like, they're still. And think about when they get Rashee Rice back. They just dominated last week versus the Ravens, and they just got Xavier Worthy back, and he looked good. And then you get Rashee Rice at some point back after week 6. It's a good team, man. They're going to be good.
I'll tell you what, the Lions, And they can play with the Chiefs no matter what. But I think it's another case where you're playing everyone's playing at the Bengals at the right time because Joe Burrow's pretty much out for the season. But you're also playing the Chiefs at the right time because Rashee Rice isn't going to be back from suspension yet. With a healthy Xavier Worthy and a healthy Rashee Rice being there on the field for the same time and for the first time in like a calendar year, I think the Chiefs are going to be a lot more dangerous because when you didn't have Worthy, you didn't have Rice. Travis Kelce is obviously declining. It's, the Chiefs offense looked a little bit like a drag at times, but against the Ravens, and I know it's the Ravens and they have a lot of starters out, but that was the best I've seen Patrick Mahomes look probably since 2023, quite frankly. It looked more like the vintage Mahomes that looked like he could end up being the best quarterback who ever lived someday. I still think he could, but I will even admit that last year and in parts of the regular season in 2023, he didn't always quite look like himself. He looked amazing in that last game.
It seemed like you got a lot of Mahomes like finding ways to win and playing really well, obviously. Yeah. But he never, that game against the Ravens, you haven't seen him play like that in a while. And it's not even like detriment to I don't know. It's just, those were like where you'd see a lot of those games consistently were like the days of prime Kelce and Tyreek Hill and the gang. Like he was throwing 4 or 5 TDs every other night. I mean, you haven't seen at least a performance like last night or on Sunday in a while, to be honest. So, and I think it actually, to your point about the Chiefs, like Lions are going to play the Chiefs at it. I mean, you get the benefit of playing the Browns and the Bengals, but you're actually going to play the Chiefs, I think, when they're kind of picking up a little bit, where they're looking a lot better. So I think that matchup will be a better matchup. I don't think the Chiefs are what they were still, but anytime you have Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Spags, I mean, you're still you're in Arrowhead. It's still going to be a tough game. Like I think the Bucs game will be tougher. Just because the matchup, like the Bucs are. It depends how healthy the Bucs are, though. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries, but yeah, the Chiefs are. I gotta respect the Chiefs, man. Like they're still in this thing. Have you seen the Ravens schedule? Like the Ravens schedule through the first like 4 weeks, they're 1-3, but they've played the Bills, the Chiefs, in the Lions. The first 3 of the 4 games. Who's like that?
That's
if you want to be a contender, you got to win one of those games, though. You can't lose all 3.
And that's the thing. They're so banged up, and Madubuike is out for the season. Lamar Jackson took himself out of the game. I don't know if he's hurt. I mean, they already played the Browns once. That was their auto win. Maybe they can feast on their own division a little bit. The Steelers look a little bit better than we maybe thought that they would, but I still think the Ravens are probably a better overall team. I would consider the Ravens a candidate for maybe being one of those rare teams that starts the season 1-3, but finishes like 10-7 and sneaks in, not being what they were in some of their best years where they had great records, home field, just sneak in as a wild card team.
They're going to have Cooper Rush the next couple weeks. Cooper Rush. That's Jerry's guy.
Maybe not. Maybe the Ravens are just cooked. Is Lamar out for a couple weeks?
He's out for like 2-3 weeks, which sucks.
Who do they play?
I don't know. The Ravens, they play the Texans, and then they play the Rams, and then they play the Bears.
Oh, they're done. Season's over. The Rams and the Texans, they might be able to win, but the Rams, it's over. And then the Bears.
And then their schedule kind of lightens up a little bit. But at that point, you're like, what, 2-5? I mean, 1 and whatever.
Yeah. Something's going to get shaken up in Baltimore after this season. I can feel it.
Yeah. Good on you guys for letting me know that it's pretty much official that Lamar is at least going to miss this week and probably the next 2 or 3. Maybe that might lead me to revisit the whole finish the season 10-7 thing. They just
probably 7-10, probably like 6-11, something like that.
They could go 2-1 in their next 3. If they do that, they might stabilize their season a bit. They could.
Hey, El Guapo says Lions have a history of blowing out bad teams and getting their head coach fired the next week. Let's see if that continues. Well, you never know. El Guapo, appreciate the $5 there. Flannel, we appreciate the hell out of you, my man.
Thank you for having me.
You killed it as always, and we will catch you next week. Keep crushing.
Appreciate you, Flannel. Love you, brother.
Flannel Sam joining the program, talking to the fellas.
What a rhyme. Flannel Sam is joining the program.
Talking to the fellas, man. Shout out to Sam. He's the best. I love that, man. He's going to be joining us weekly. Schedule obviously varies, so it might just be a random Sam Flannel day any day of the week. Get ready. Obviously, Wednesdays are that's the doc. It's the day of the doc. So any day but Wednesday, of course. But he'll be popping in. So shout out.
I think Flannel's frozen again.
He's I think he's. Just get him out of here.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could
just picked his ass right out. He's frozen. His internet probably blasted just until
right in perfect timing. Perfect timing.
All right. Time to get into our power rankings here. You ready for this?
It's weird. I'll say this before we go. I'm going to preface. It was a weird week for power rankings because
I hate it.
Let's say like 4 to 8, 9. A lot of them actually lost, and it's hard. And they lost. There were a lot of 3-0 teams that lost. So it's like you're trying to shuffle around. Like you're trying to keep some still in the top 5 and the top 6, trying to move some out. It's kind of a mess a little bit, to be honest.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't like this. I didn't like the back half of this week.
Me either.
Like
I struggled.
Games were easy. After that, it was pretty tough. I mean,
I struggled a little bit this week.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But I'll go first. Want me to go first? Knock mine
Kill
out.
it, dude.
All right. So here's my list, my top 5 NFL teams right now. And then we'll get to the back half, the other 5, which I hated ranking. It sucks. But the first 5, I think, are objective. Number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. We can talk about the Eagles and we can talk about how they look beatable. But what you can't talk about is who they've beaten. They've beaten good teams. Even if it hasn't looked the prettiest, they've still beaten the Rams. They've still beaten the Bucks. They've still beaten the Chiefs. They beat those 3 teams. So those are all 3 teams that are what? On the top 10.
Yeah.
So they've had 3 top 10 wins. So I have to take that. That's how I decided between them or the Bills. They were both undefeated, but I gave the team that has bigger wins. And then the Bills are number 2. Okay. So yeah, we don't need to dive too much into it. Josh Allen, that dude is incredible. And they're finding ways to win and beating teams they're supposed to beat. I know the Saints game was a little late in the game, but they still beat them at the end, and it didn't really matter. They're still undefeated. So they beat the Ravens week 1. That was the Ravens at their peak. So that was still a pretty good win for them. Number 3, the Lions. I think the Lions have earned this spot. All right. I think the Lions have earned this spot. This to me is the consecutive top 3 teams in football right here. I don't think you can debate it. I don't think you can argue it. I don't think if you disagree, then you're wrong, quite frankly. This is objective. These 3 teams. The Lions are on this list. They deserve to be. They beat the Ravens, which at the time was a better win than what it looks like now against the Chiefs, but they still beat them, and that was still a big win. They still blew out all the teams they're supposed to blow out. And I think that Packers loss is the only thing keeping them from outside the top 2, obviously. But still, I think they bounced back in the right way, and they deserve to be top 3. Number 4, I have the Rams. Rams lost to the Eagles. Probably should have beat them, but the Rams are playing really good football right now. They're beating on team. They beat the Titans. They did what they're supposed to do against the Titans, and the Rams just beat the Colts. And the Colts are a top 10 team. I mean, I'll throw it to you, Booner, on that. The Colts are playing pretty good football. They beat the Colts. So I think that's a good win for them. So the Rams, to me, another one. I think that's an also objective thing. That should be top 4. Number 5, this is where it gets. I think it's objective. This you could probably start arguing. I think the Bucks are a top 5 team. They battled with the Eagles, had a really good game. I think the Bucks, despite all the injuries they keep having, they keep staying in games and battling. They had a chance against the Eagles, and they've had other chances. They're a gritty team. I hate using that word because it's trademarked by the Lions, but they really are, man. They're scrappy. They're a good team, and they're good defensively. Bucky Irving's incredible. He's so good. And Emeka Egbuka's fantastic. Godwin's back. Mike Evans is coming back. They got Wirfs back. So Bucks are getting stronger, and to me, they're a top 5 team. Number 6, this one, I know they lost to the Giants. I still think the Chargers are really good, and I know the loss to Jackson Dart wasn't good. It wasn't great. I think it was one of those instances where a West Coast team flies out East Coast. It's like what you say, Booner, on the pick'em. New quarterback sparks a little bit of juice for a team. They take down the Chargers. I don't think it's the end all be all with the Chargers. I still think they're a really good team. And I think going forward, they have Mac out, which is going to hurt them. But I have faith that they're still going to be really good. So I'm not going to knock them too far down. The only concern I have is Joe Alt now hurt. That's big, and they already have Slater out. So that is worrying to me. So now they're kind of figuring out. They both have both.
I think Slater. I think Joe Alt's short term. I could be wrong with that.
I think it is high ankle sprain. I don't know what that is or how long that is, but that sucks. Number 7, I have the Colts here, and I didn't move them from last week. And the reason why I didn't move them is because I actually thought they had AD Mitchell. All right, tough one by him. All right, he fumbled twice at the goal line. I think he fumbled once or twice at the goal line. They probably should have had. They could have stole that game from the Rams. They had mistakes. I think the Colts, I got respect for them, Boone. They're a good team. I don't think they're on the tier of the top 5, top 6 teams, but I think they're a good team. They're a playoff team. They displayed that. And, they got after Daniel Jones, though. They gave them a challenge. But I'm still going to give the Colts some respect. I think they're a top 10 team. So I have them at 7. I didn't really see them moving too far back. The reason why I have them over the Packers is because the Packers looked worse against a worse team. The Rams are better than the Cowboys, and the Colts had a better game. Even though they lost, they didn't give up 40 points. Like the Cowboys game against the Packers, I don't think gave the Packers too many bonus points because they had no CeeDee Lamb and they scored 40 on this Packers defense. That is one of the best defenses in the league. And the Packers also lost to the Browns. So they haven't really moved anywhere for me. They're just kind of meh. A tie doesn't really do much. They're still 8. And I think what you could argue is the Chiefs could be higher. I actually don't mind that argument because of what the Packers displayed, and then the Chiefs blew out the Ravens. So if you want to bump the Chiefs up 1 or 2 spots, I'm actually not going to be mad at that. I think the Chiefs are still a top 10 team. Big win against the Ravens. I wouldn't put them too much higher, but you could say that. You could say, Jeff, they're better than the Packers. Oh, okay, maybe. I'm just going to give the Packers the nod because a tie's not a loss. It's not a win. So
yeah,
giving them that edge over the Chiefs still right now. 10, going with the Jags. Win over the 49ers, healthy Brock Purdy. Liam Cohen wants all the smoke with Robert Saleh, went right up to him after the game. So keep my name out of your mouth. So Liam Cohen got some swag points to me, man. That dude's a dog. And the Jags are playing pretty good football right now. So they deserve to be a top 10 team. But this is my top 10 list.
Love it. I honestly, I think ours are pretty similar. I don't, like you just went into all of that. I don't see many differences in mine. I know you're going to throw mine up here in a minute.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see one big difference. Well, not big, but the one difference you have is you have the Bills over the Eagles. I think that's the only thing, I guess, of any significance. And the Chiefs higher. You have the Chiefs higher, which I'm actually not mad at.
I'll say this. The Bills over the Eagles, that's just been consistent for me. I've had that the last 2 weeks, and I think I would I'll say this. If the Eagles would not keep staying in these close games, and I know they're playing different teams. Like they just beat the number 5 team on my power rankings. I get that. So I can't I see the argument. I'm just more so trying to be consistent on I've had the Bills at number 1 all year so far, or since week 1, to where they haven't shown they're bad. They just keep dominating. And in my opinion, it's they're playing the teams that are just on their schedule, and they just keep dominating them. They're not about to lose or anything. And with the Eagles, you could have they almost lost to that Bucs team. They just let the Bucs team stay in it. So I just didn't change my 1, 2, 3 because last week all 3 of them won. They all found a way to get the job done. I'm not going to move them around, in my opinion. Obviously, at 4, I moved the Rams all the way up. I don't even know if we had them in our top 10 last week. I can't remember, but either way, this Rams team's really good, man. They just find ways to get it done. And I was really high on that Colts team, and I still am. I know when I text you this, you're like, why do you have the Colts so low? I struggled with that 6 through 10 mark, trying to figure out where to put guys and where to put teams just based off of who they've beat and all of that. But I do think this Rams team right now, if you're looking at contenders in the NFC, they're right there. It's Eagles, Lions, Rams. And then it's kind of a fact. It's kind of crazy right now. The top end of the NFC is probably better than the top end of the AFC at the current moment. But number 5, I had the Bucs. I saw a lot of people in the chat, actually, Jeff, just be like, hey, the Bucs, why do they keep getting the respect? One, they lost to the Eagles, and they ended up making it a 1-possession game. But number 2 is they're without Mike Evans, and they are struggling right now at offensive line. And then they have, I'm not saying struggling based off of play, but with injuries, and they're going through it. This Bucs team's still really, really good. They're very good. And the fact that they almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles with all of those injuries, I think that's like a testament of what this team actually is and what they're about. Like, this is one of the tougher teams in the NFL. Baker's extremely good. Emeka Egbuka is an unbelievable addition as a rookie. And that defense is always going to be that Tampa Bay defense that you see them throw out there, that Todd Bowles throws out there. So you have to respect them at 6. Jeff, I don't know where you put the Chiefs. What did you have them at 8, maybe?
Yeah, like 2 spots.
I threw them at 6. Listen, they're 2-2. They just
3
beat the
spots. I think I'm at a 9.
Yeah, they beat them at the Ravens. Listen, the Chiefs are whether people want to be like, Booner, why are you at the Chiefs on? If you watch that game or even just saw clips of it, Patrick Mahomes looked back to what he was. This team is good. Like, I understand they had a slow start. And what did I tell you, Jeff? I had them in my top 10 in week 2, even though they were 0-2 or whatever it was. And it was just like, hey, this is a good team that's going to figure it out. They're still one of the best teams in the NFL. They need to get Xavier Worthy back. You could tell that offense just was going through hiccups. It wasn't just because of Xavier Worthy. It was because they just didn't have a weapon for defenses to have to account for on the outside, or in the slot or wherever he's at. Like, just as a receiver, you didn't have that. And then when they get the Rashee Rice back, they're going to easily be a top, probably 4 team in the NFL. Boom, just like that. And what they did versus the Ravens, I know the Lions put a beating on the Ravens as well, and put a bunch of points up. But Patrick Mahomes went out there and you saw exactly what he is. So you have to respect it. I would right now, again, Jeff, if I would have them play the Packers, this is how I like to look at it. The Packers, Chargers, Colts, Jags. Guess what I'm doing? I think that the Chiefs would win those games, and I'm picking them to win. So that's how I put them above the number 7, Green Bay
the
Packers.
Chargers beat them, technically.
Yeah, but this week, I'm talking about this week, the Chiefs with Xavier Worthy, guys healthy, and especially if you add Rashee Rice, the Chiefs are beating the Chargers next time they play, in my opinion. They're that good. So, and that was a week 1 win, too, in Brazil. It's just a weird, I don't know. But the Packers, obviously, I know the people are going to say, they almost lost to the Cowboys. I had them, I think, I actually just kept them the same. They tied the Cowboys. This is where I'm at with the Packers. I'm going to wait and see. Like, if I was doing this in categories, I'd put the Packers in my wait and see category. Just want to wait and see. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing right now with the Chargers. Like the 7 to 10 teams, I would put them in the category of just let's wait and see. Like the Chargers, I think the Chargers could be a top 5 team in the NFL, but you don't go out and lose to the New York Giants. You don't. Like, you can't. And I don't care if your offensive tackles go down or not. Jeff, what do I say? What was the thing that I've brought up a million times? Super Bowl contending teams beat the teams they're supposed to beat, whether you have injuries or not. They lost to the New York Giants and a Jackson Dart in his first career start. That's a bad look, in my opinion. So I did bring the Chargers down. I think I had them in the top 5 last week, put into 8. The Colts, this is one that I struggled with because I feel like they could be higher, Jeff, and I probably could have put them at 6 or 7 because at the end of the day, they probably should have beat the Rams. And if they win that Rams game, you probably swap the Rams and the Colts in this power rankings. And that play from the 2-2 Atwell and that 80-yard touchdown was incredible for Matthew Stafford. So they're still my top 10 based off of, like, I still think, who do they play this week, this Colts team? Let me see. I got you here. I got the schedule up. They play the Raiders. So they're about to start 4-1. They'll probably move up in my rankings. And then number 10, you do got to respect this Jags team, man. Jeff, this Jags team's back, I think. Liam Cohen has his team buzzing.
I think I was a year too early, and Klotz was a year too early on the Colts.
Yeah. This Jags team is buzzing.
We should have had this whole me and him debate this year. That would have been way. I mean, it's just, yeah, they're doing well with Liam, dude. You see him with Salah, dude. He just wants to scrap Salah. I mean, this guy is just an absolute dog. I mean, he's over there calling out Robert Salah. He made Robert Salah walk back his comments. Like, after the game, he was like, "Yeah, I should have said what I said." Like Liam Cohen made him fucking.
I feel like me and you were more. I'm not gonna say we were like Liam Cohen's fans, but we were sticking up for him. Remember, we put the audio in here and we said, "Listen, Dan Campbell got a lot of hate when he first started."
Yeah,
me and you were pretty much in lockstep with this Jags team to where you come in and you change this thing offensively. And I said that was one of my bold predictions was Trevor Lawrence is going to get back to Trevor Lawrence and going to bring this Jags team a little revitalize it. And they've done just that. They really have.
Before we get to mailbag, get your questions ready. I do got to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper because it's the best fantasy app on planet Earth. It's a fantasy sports plus real money gaming app focused on bringing fans people together through sports and gaming. It's become one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the entire world. Millions and millions of active users while still earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. They also have sleeper picks, which is a great feature. If it's allowed in your state, you should be using it. It's a real money product that connects friends over picks. You choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame live, or you can do different sports as well. Pick more or less than the predicted stats. On Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000 X pass, share with your friends, get rewarded together, use the code CT Sports, get a $100 deposit match up to $100. All right, let's get to mailbag here so we can get to the people. Let's see. I see already questions coming in. Let me see if I can get these. All right. I'll start. First one, Shift God. Who do you have coming out of the AFC if and when Baltimore doesn't get back on track?
I have the Bills. I know someone put in the chat, I don't remember who. I can't see. Someone said
Bills should be the favorite to come out right now. Bills or Chiefs, in my opinion.
Diggity Dog put in there. I know we'll probably pull it up. He said, "Are we overrating the Bills?" They've only beaten the Finns, the Saints, the Jets, and should have lost to the Ravens. I mean, should have, could have, would have. That whole thing. They're a good 4-0 team. I'm taking the Bills.
They're a good 4-0 team. I think that game against the Saints were able to run the ball all over them. That was a little. The Bills, I think, are a really good team. That's why I don't know. I think they're good. They haven't been as maybe dominant as maybe I would expect. Like against the Saints, like that game was only like a possession until like the fourth quarter, or late in the fourth quarter, which was a little surprising. You know,
they're not gonna blow every team out, though. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to.
Yeah, but they won though, didn't they?
Well, take care of teams.
You take care of business. They took care of business. They won. You're gonna get into battles. Like there's no trap games who are Super Bowl contender, but you're gonna be in a game. You're expected to finish it, right? You're expected to still find a way to win. That's how I look at it.
Let's see. Randall Milbag got here late. Should Lions trade for Seattle? No, should they or will they? I don't think they will. And honestly, I don't know enough about how Tariq Woolen's playing to know whether or not that he's worth trading for, Rando. I know young Tariq. Klotz loved him his rookie year, but I don't think they're going to make a move. I mean, you're going to get DJ Reed's injury is not season ending, so therefore I don't see them making a move. If it was, I would be a little more enticed.
This reminds me, Tyreek Hill out for the season.
Oh, dude, it was brutal.
Drew Rosenhaus actually announced that he will be ready to go next season. I thought there was a chance that he's just like, I'm done playing football, but
Anakin Mailbag, it's the end of Tyreek, that injury.
I think he'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. If it was like a broken leg where it was like snapped and he's really like, it's an ACL. That's what I think they said it was an ACL.
I mean, that looks more than an ACL. I mean,
they said it was just an ACL.
His leg was pointing northeast, man.
Did you see that? Someone at work today showed me like the still picture of like them zoomed in on his like knee, and like his kneecap was in like
it was a dislocated knee.
It was nuts, dude.
Dude, it was a dislocated knee. He tore the ligaments and tore his ACL. Like it looked like a knee blew his like.
He'll be back. Drew Rosenhaus. We know Drew is very good at his job. He said he'll be back next year. He'll be ready. He said we'll be ready to go for the 2026 season.
Yeah, which I mean, hey, he's got enough baby mamas, man. He needs to keep pumping. He needs
the money to keep coming in.
Yeah,
that's tough.
He needs money, bro, coming in.
Yeah,
there's no way. Motor City Derek, when do we get some more Tesla?
I don't know. They're probably coming off of the out of the factory here. I'm sure Elon Musk is making more coming out of the factory here. So
yeah, this I think I don't know if we'll see him this week.
Funny joke, no bad joke. Okay, yeah, take a step back.
Yeah, it was a tough. I don't know if the crowd
roll it back, try it again. Yeah, we're
the crowd went mild. The crowd.
Yeah, no, we're workshopping right now. This is like how like comedians go into like smaller comedy clubs and like test their workout. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, you're spitballing. That's all.
Yeah, we were spitballing. I'm working on for my performance at LCA.
I would say maybe a little. You might see a little bit of them in stretches, but I don't think you're going to see a lot more of them unless there's an injury. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't think so. C. Murktia, mailbag with Dan saying Aleem's clock starting. Do you think it's possible Tyreek snaps go down? He's been spectacular. honestly, I think there's situations where you can play Aleem and Tyleek together.
I agree. I do agree.
So
I'm interested to see how they handle this whole situation.
But it's a given. Tyleek snaps are going to go down, and DJ Reader maybe he's going to go down, and then Roy Lopez will go down. Like he's going to crack into that rotation and get snaps.
Oh, we didn't even talk about today. Dan Campbell spoke on 97.1. Did you hear what he said?
Real quick, Drew Sai, appreciate the $5. He said, I meant to say when Flannel was on, my phone died. Tell the dude he is so missed. Please, Drew, we got you. Appreciate the $5.
We'll let him know. Shout out Drew, man.
Flannel like we do. Go on, Booner. What we're saying, sorry.
I was just saying today, Dan, yesterday, obviously, he said we might start the clock, and then everyone, obviously we all put out the reports. Hey, the Lee McNeil clock might get started tomorrow or this week. Today, he confirmed it. It was confirmed. He said, did you hear what he said about Aleem today? He said Aleem told him, he said, Coach, when I'm 96.4% back, he said, I'll come to you and I want you to start my class. I want to go. And Dan said, okay. And Dan said yesterday, or it was like sometime earlier this week, he said he walked up to him and he said, Coach, I'm 96.4% back. And then Dan said, all right, we're starting to clock tomorrow. And then Dan said, we're starting this clock today or this week. Like he confirmed it. He was like, it's starting. And then they asked him what game. And then he said, maybe the Chiefs, maybe the Bucks. So it's going to be one of those two games.
It should be. Corey's right. It should be Bucks bye week.
Yeah. Yep. I guess it depends on how he feels. If he's 96.4% back, my personal thought process is the only way he's ready to go. The only thing that's holding him back now is probably just getting in game shape. That's it. So if he's in game shape, his knee's fine. Like it's good to go. If he's in game shape by the Chiefs game, I wouldn't be shocked if he's playing versus the Chiefs.
That'd be nice.
I think that's all it comes down to. Because if it's 96% healed, I mean, you're essentially, you're good.
Yeah, I don't know, 96.4%. I mean, that's just, I don't know how I mean, it's like, what are we getting these percentages from?
Well, no, they did ask, like, I think Costa asked Dan and was like, well, where's he getting these percentages? Like, and he goes, Aleem's a smart man. I think we could play it. Do we want to play it real quick? I know we're about to get off here, but I think Dan actually said it in this clip. I liked it just so we had it.
Yeah, play it. Let me hear this.
Oh, here it is. Let me share my screen.
On Aleem McNeil. He mentioned, I know at some point you're going to start the clock on Aleem McNeil. He mentioned a couple of weeks ago that he was 93, 94% ready to go. When might you start that clock?
Mac, the other day, I was talking to him, and he said, Coach, when I'm 94.6% ready, you tell me, I'll let you go, man, and you guys can put me out there. And I said, all right. So yesterday, he said, Coach, I'm 94.6% ready to get after this. So I said, all right, well, let's start.
That's a dad joke.
Well, that's what we're going to do. I don't know how he knows his body that well, but he does. So
where do you get these percentages from?
Dude, he's unbelievable, this guy. Listen, he's been trending the right way, and it's been us being conservative with him, making sure that we're smart about this. The guy's put in the work. I mean, he's looked phenomenal. Fish and those guys were talking about in August how good the guy looked and that he may be ahead of schedule. It's just this thing's taken off, and his strength is really good in the knee, and that's the biggest thing is getting the strength and flexibility back in the knee. And he got that pretty quick because of the work that he put into it. And so it's just been about, man, let's make sure we're smart with this, that we reach that minimum threshold as to, okay, man, we know this thing is healed. It's ready. The flexibility's right. The strength is right. He can protect himself and produce. He's there, we feel like.
It's a 21-day window. So would it be safe to say you guys are trying to get him back before the bye week then?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see if we can do that and how comfortable he is. Really, so much of it is about what does he look like? How does he feel? I think it would be nice to try to do that if we could, but we're not going to, say for sure, like, all right, this is when you're playing. There's no doubt about it. Let's just see where he's at.
Love that. Yeah, so I'm with you. Probably it's Chiefs or Bucks. I'd go Bucks. Good guessing prediction.
Bucks.
But Chiefs could happen too. I mean, we'll see with that. Appreciate you all tomorrow. Day of the doc.
By the way, shout out Hanch in the chat. Have a bet going with him right now. We need Hunter Green, 5 strikeouts. Come on now.
Shout out to Hanch.
Doc tomorrow, baby. Come on.
We'll be back with the DOC tomorrow. Be there. Until then, appreciate you all as always. Much love. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Love you guys.